No, this is not an ad. I'm not promoting this product. I haven't even tried it yet. But I am promoting my health independently of the medical system or nutritionists. It's like a wave of nutritionists now. Nutritionist training. It's like, oh my God, we're heading in the right direction. No, you have to ask yourself why. Not only is that not part of the norm for everybody to learn about their own nutrition and what is individually better for them through, a normal human school system, but also how they're always outdated in this program anyways, and they're always lacking in scientific paradigm. So I'm going to try a few different things. This one is a little bit more gluten related, supposedly, and I can try different ones and document one at a time, following the instructions precisely. The next one could be gluten related or vegetable fiber related digestion, and just catalog what's causing less digestion issues and bloating issues. And of course, I'll have to document what I eat. I can't consistently, when you're poor, eat the exact same thing, whether it's the cheapest or most easily accessible or whatever. So, but I will document the days of what I ate, and along with these products. And it's almost Valentine's Day, and I realize who I miss the most. Well, it's a plant. It's not a plant, it's two plants. You've seen it in other videos. And when I was, when I approached finally Mount Sentinel Farm to stay there for the long term, or at least for the whole winter, and maybe travel to go meet what the other tribes or clans would be like. Always knowing, even the first time I met one of the members, because what I did was I saw the sign one time and wanted to ask, didn't know it was religious, and I was asked to go meet somebody at the Yellow Deli. And since that first time, I'm not religious. It's not going to happen. So I've always been clear. But they believed that a miracle would occur that didn't happen, and they only believed in this miracle for 2 weeks, and then they said we were a bad fit. Although I behaved more, and I'm not saying they followed Jesus or they used the word Jesus, but I behaved more based on whatever way you might evaluate the Bible's ethics or morals or commandments or rules of good conduct or divinity or whatever it might be. But when I left there, I left in the laundromat, and the way that I left, they still believe that they had honor or nobility in how they did it. When if I helped them reference the outside world or what it was like for me, their choice at the last minute, because they kind of wanted me out for a special event, and maybe other people taking the little cottage that I almost finished preparing after 2 weeks in my move slowly out of all the hard work I was doing on the farm and the restaurant, is, I had to rush really, and it was disappointing. But since the beginning, I said, you're the healthiest community I've met in these parts. And of course, it would take more questioning to find out, how to define this, because only one person or two, I said, I still believe you are not healthy by human standards or, like at human levels, but you're sad enough, you are the healthiest and of course I would say in which sense, and it wouldn't be life skills sense, right? It'd be a sense of, working on a farm and having pretty decent customer service, except for the imposing of the views, which is successfully, allowed to be assimilated by people that may or may not already be like that. And often I'd overhear conversations where people think their beliefs are the same when they're not. Just like in Philosopher's Cafe of non-religious people, they believe they're in the same conversation when they're not. And I'm not just saying that, like I could give examples, of the times in Philosopher's Cafe or overhearing these things. And I was only doing dishes. I don't know if they trusted me to have real conversations with people without them present. It's very sad, the micromanaging of their beliefs, which, it gives them a sense of security. And that's a common theme. We're all, like, if you look at all the villains of history, and right now the villains and the supposed good guys or saviors or solution bringers of history they're a tiny degree apart, really. It's almost not there. And a lot of it is the insecurities of not having gone the maturation process or traumas from the past, and believing that these solutions and easily finding followers who are, couch potatoes mostly, or computer addicts, to give them power to the point that these subhuman adult children, anonymous bullies, because if if Jordan B. Peterson says that it's bad for people on social media to anonymously, criticize others because he's been criticized in this way by anonymous people, well, you should pay for a survey to prove you're responsible as a psychologist and show it. Hopefully, it'll be objectively done, about how many of your followers that you claim, with so many, I must be right, the College of Psychologists must be wrong, how many actually do this non-transparent bullying on your behalf, because I believe that'd be a big shock to your divine sense of morals or ethics, except you don't want to go there because, you're a child that's been hurt like every adult villain or hero of history, and right now it's really hard to tell them apart during this Anthropocene. Anyways, back to almost Valentine's Day. I'm realizing I'm missing my plants. And in other videos, you saw the plant survive in here in a motorhome with me in the cold, a lot of cold times. And I think it was the symbiosis we had, taking care of each other and talking to each. Well, I'd do the talking. She or it would do the growing, and I'd eat pieces of it, and she'd feel, or it, I would assume, would be grateful. I'd keep kind of paying attention, right, to this living creature in a way that she'd survive. That's the only constant in the last year, life partner that offered real friendship in a win-win life partnership scenario. And I left it at the farm in the laundry room on the last day because I was leaving not knowing my future and if this plant would survive, if I would have heat to offer. Like, I can't even get a dog or a cat, but not even a plant at that time I felt responsible enough to keep, with the uncertainty of somebody with 3 post-secondary degrees and all the volunteering I want to do. If you don't want to pay me, just give me food and shelter. And I'm still not successful in Canadian society. Poor BC addicts of, I'm given an 800 number to call by Work BC, and it's because this guy's not on drugs. We have to assume he's very mentally ill. We can't call him an addict. And and I'm not going to go get robbed by a doctor, like I was just telling a pharmacist, to renew my medicine again, because this time I would, right after I leave the hospital, go do a police report that this doctor asked how much cash I had in my wallet, and it was on condition that I give all the cash, that he would sign his little piece of paper to renew a medicine I've been on for years and years. So again, what I'm saying about all this money going into the, I don't think BC should be trusted, or Quebec. They should be some serious federal oversight organizations that monitor how the money is used. And part of it should be like in the emergency room, there's a lawyer's office. And the lawyer asks somebody coming in and said, would you like me to be there with you or assist you? Or you can give a complaint after or later. Here's my card. Because you would have to add free legal aid to patients as a way. Because I'm hearing so many stories here. In the Castlegar, some in Trail, but mostly Castlegar Hospital, where I've been robbed a couple of times, about, my God, incompetence. What's the word? They shouldn't have a license anymore with the errors they make and how they cover themselves. You think police officers protect each other? By the way, the police officers here are pretty decent, I would say, what I've observed so far. But the doctors, they protect themselves like the mob. And it starts young. It starts young that they rob people, and that's the only way they think they can survive. And you can see their faces is like they already feel guilty. They're already starting to be sick in their 20s from being a doctor in a sick culture. So aside from lawyers, should be assigned in the fees that are distributed to protect people. I also heard a story about an accident where it was so pretty nasty. Like the person had a safety belt, but they were in the other seat. and the car was destroyed, could barely see the person. And then 911 assumed they were dead when they show up. It was a nurse not on duty that reached in with the hand and found the pulse. And then finally they decide, let's get the jaws of life, where they cause a serious injury during that time on the leg and veins. Like, it's really incompetent. So that there needs to be so much more transparency and accountability in the system, especially in Quebec and BC. And that's because I've collected most of the data here. It could be that it's not the two worst places. I don't know. But it's pretty sad. I miss my plant. I was good to my plants. They were good to me. But I wasn't sure when I was leaving a place full of saints if I could, for being a hard worker, who kept my promises and my word, who walked the talk, but they couldn't believe that I was a non-religious Homo sapien good person. And their senses, I think, were working. But I left the plant in the laundry room, and I wrote on it, on the ice cream container, remember? You might have seen another video, as if I have people following my videos. Like, I have 50-something subscribers, but unless I promote, let's say, a singing video, very rare, or put it on a site that has a Jordan B. Peterson video where I talk about him, so people can maybe think about maybe how they think when they watch videos, is I won't even get 57 views if that's what I have as subscribers. But I was telling somebody there's also secret subscribers who won't even allow in their settings for them to show up in a count, much, not with their name, but not even an account of. So you can tell, plus if you look at the comments over the years, the lack of comments, and that includes, some of the best friends you might think I've had, or relatives or whatever, is there's really no paying attention to an Homo sapien. There's no acknowledging. But I miss my plant, and I don't know if somebody adopted my plant. I almost feel like next time I would pass by there to go get my plant back, just because I'm worried my plant might not be loved unless it serves a purpose on the farm to bring profits or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's Valentine's Day, and I might give a gift to somebody I know soon, and on Valentine's Day, and they're going to say, why are you giving me this? And I'm going to say, well, you are the closest thing I have to a lady friend, although we've never been romantic, and we didn't even succeed in beginning a friendship, and even the economic service not-for-profit agreement we made didn't work out, and I couldn't get answers why you were satisfied with my services. Maybe it's because they know maybe I wasn't that satisfied with their services, but that might have been fixed if there was a motivation. But anyways, this is the lack of love in my life. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get another plant soon, if not that one, or even like a stray animal or something that needs help outside of the system that tries to rob you for adopting an animal in need. It's the same thing with adoptions. When a culture or family has failed somewhere, and other people will make, if not them, the failed parents or culture makes a profit. The elite makes a profit to have that child go somewhere else, hopefully in a better home, not always. Well, that's human slavery in a modern way with the monetary paradigm, and everybody thinks it's great and celebrates it and does a party when somebody goes through all these expense and forms and all this. And you guys don't know, you've just participated in a child slavery ring that transferred money not even to the people that gave birth to this child. This is who you are. I'm not making this stuff up.